Ladies and gentlemen, and everyone else,
Welcome to Dormcast. I'm Gannett, your co-host,
and I'm Ethan, your other co host.
and let's get started with some introductions. So we're going to talk about our favorite movies, our least favorite movies, our favorite shows, what we're watching currently, all kinds of stuff. All right, so for my top four, starting with number four, I'm going with Parasite. Parasite is the greatest movie ever made. Um, Ethan hasn't seen it, but we will be watching it soon. It's just absolutely incredible. I don't really have anything else to say.
Am I going first? Or
Yeah,
all right.
go ahead with your number four.
Number four?
Okay, yours aren't ranked, so just go ahead.
Okay. I'm going to start it off with Spider Man Into the Spider Verse.
Awesome, fire pick.
Not much explanation needed with that. It's one of, if not the best animated movies of all time. It's got lots of action. It's a great story. Great introduction for Miles Morales into the world.
The cinematic world.
Yeah, that's right.
No, I agree. Yeah, no, that's going to be making an appearance in my top four. But my number three is Fight Club, another one that Ethan hasn't seen. But if you've seen Fight Club, you know. I promise I'm not one of the IMDb bros who just only watches like shallow movies and thinks they're all amazing. But Fight Club is actually deep in my opinion, and I think it's amazing. So, third favorite.
All right. We're gonna go with Ratatouille because
fire almost made my top four.
I love Ratatouille.
Ratatouille is really, really good.
It's just like keeps me interested the entire time. I don't know why. It just does. I really like cooking, so that's part of it. It's just a really good story. Animation's good, as most Disney movies, Pixar movies.
Yeah, and a lot of really good characters.
Very good characters in that.
Yeah. All right, on for my number two. My number two is Into the Spider-Verse. Yeah, greatest animated movie ever made. Definitely the best comic book movie, best superhero movie. Nothing that's great about it hasn't already been said by anyone else in the world because it is pretty universally renowned as one of the greatest things humanity's ever done. And I wholeheartedly recognize it for that fact.
We're going with Rogue One. I don't know, man.
Gotta put the Star Wars up there.
It's my favorite Star Wars movie.
It's not the best one. It's pretty good. But like I do get the appeal of it because it is a very different take on Star Wars.
It's like I like because just to get this out there, Star Wars is my favorite franchise
and mine too.
And so I love all of the movies. This one's just like different because it's not focused on like dark side versus light side, not focused on the Force. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's very good with like the military feel to it with all the rebels. I just really like the story. Just there's nothing about it that I don't like. Obviously, Vader's hallway scene at the end is amazing.
Yeah, peak anything.
It's great for world building as well with the introduction of like Jakku, Edu, just like random.
Jakku is in that?
Not Jakku. Jeddah. It's the same thing, right?
Okay, yeah, pretty much.
It's just good for world building. Just expands on everything. I'm about that kind of thing. It's my favorite Star Wars movie.
Would you say that when Star Wars isn't focusing on the Force, it's at its best? Because that is a take that's been going around. Is that the Star Wars like movies and shows and episodes that aren't about the Force are the best ones?
That's what I enjoy about it the most. Is literally just world building, just expanding and going into the detail of all these other things. Like I still love the Force and how it
right, yeah.
Like when you learn new things about it, Star Wars. Yeah, but that's probably it could be at its best, when it's going into the side stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
My first favorite is Monty Python and the Holy Grail. I watched that movie a few years ago with my dad. Have you seen that?
Nope.
Okay, well, none of my top four. I guess you've seen Spider-Verse.
Guys, I'm uncultured.
No, it's okay. It's okay. It's a British comedy. If you haven't seen it, you're missing out. But if you have seen it, you either think it's hilarious and love it, or you think it's incredibly unfunny and boring. But I think it's incredibly funny, and it's the peak of human intellect. I think it's just absolutely hilarious.
Yeah, I have to watch it.
We will watch it eventually, soon, hopefully.
Okay. This is like I'm not switching it up because mine aren't in any specific order. I'm going with Across the Spider-Verse with my fourth one, not in any order, just on the top four.
Mm-hmm.
Because it was a great sequel to
They did not disappoint.
Into the Spider-Verse, all the different variations of Spider-Man is like amazing.
Yeah.
There's like literally nothing wrong with it. I can never really like choose between Into the Spider-Verse and Across the Spider-Verse. Like I think they're on par with each other. I know some people prefer one over the other. I'm just kind of like,
what do you think about people that so a common gripe people have with it is that it ends on just a giant cliffhanger, and that most of it feels like it's just exposition for the next movie, and some people like put it down for that reason. What do you have to say about that?
I like it. I like cliffhangers because to me it makes it more exciting.
Me too.
Like I'm just like pumped for Beyond the Spider-Verse because like I have no idea what's going to happen in this. So I really like that it ended on a cliffhanger. I wasn't expecting that either.
Yeah, I think that like obviously, yeah, it doesn't have like a legit ending. Like everything in the movie is setting up for the third movie, but I thought that was totally fine. Like I still think that the way they did it was still incredible.
Yeah.
So no, yeah, I mean that's also I do think the first one's better, but they're both 5 out of 5 star movies for me.
I just love all the characters. Like we'll talk about this later.
But yeah, we'll do it. We'll get into it later. All right, so now moving on to our top 4 favorite shows. You can start this time with your number 4.
Okay. Again, I'm not in any order. I'm not good at this stuff.
No,
I love The Office. I've watched all 9 seasons of this show probably like 7 to 10 times. I can quote some of the like entirety of episodes just by heart.
There's some banger episodes. There's some very, very good
There's
episodes.
some slow ones, but like I don't know. I just love this show. The character development through the entire like it's a long show, but through the entire thing is just amazing. It gets good laughs out of me.
Valid. My 4th favorite show is a tie between Regular Show and Gravity Falls. They're both brilliant in their own way. Gravity Falls is one of the most interesting stories I've ever seen in fiction, as well as some of just the most likable characters, the most interesting characters. Gravity Falls is great. Regular Show is a bit of a feel good show for me because I watched a lot of it with my brothers or my cousins, and we all really liked it. It's very nice, and it's very goofy and funny and very iconic, and I find myself thinking about it pretty regularly. So it's between Regular Show and Gravity Falls for number 4.
All right, we're gonna rock with Rick and Morty for this next one. I have not watched this show. I'm not gone through all of it. I haven't even gone through order. I've just seen episodes out of order and stuff, and I love it, and I cannot wait till I start watching this. It's just like so diverse and random that it's just like great. Rick is like awesome,
one of the best written characters ever in my opinion.
And there's just like the random storylines is just like amazing. There's so many out of pocket things that are just hilarious in this show. So I can't wait to watch like the full thing, but just from what I've seen, I love it.
And the way that they like the plots are just brilliant. Like I've never watched an episode. Okay, there is a few that are bad, but it's just like the level of writing is just genius.
Yeah,
and it sucks in a way. It sucks in a way that it's like a stoner show, and that a lot of people just watch it because it's like funny. Because really, I think it should be taken a lot more seriously.
It's underrated for like what it is.
Yeah, exactly. But I'm glad that's in your top 4 because it may or may not also be in my top 4. So for my number 3, we're going with Jujutsu Kaisen. It's my only anime on the list, but I am very new to anime, so maybe I'll watch one and it'll sneak into my top 4. But yeah, I love JJK. If you're here from my TikTok, you know I talk about Jujutsu Kaisen a lot. That's pretty much all of my TikTok content is. It's a great show. We're getting into it. I'm getting you into it. We're like 8 episodes in, I think, to the first season. And I think it's one of the most interesting stories with some pretty like incredible moments. And Studio Mappa with season 2 really just, gosh, it's amazing. So if you haven't seen JJK, even if you're not an anime fan, you should watch Jujutsu Kaisen. Like, get over it, watch some anime, watch JJK. It's worth it.
All right, guys, get this.
Here we go.
My next one is JJK.
Fire.
How many episodes in am I? Like,
maybe 7 or 8.
Yeah. So I'm barely into this show, and it's already in my top 4 because like
that's how good it is.
This is like, I think it's the first anime that I've really watched. And I don't like. He showed me the first episode, and I was like kind of iffy at first, but just like going through it, it's already amazing. Like, I really,
and it only gets better from here.
Yeah.
Like I always say, the first season, and especially like the first half of it, is the worst the show is ever. Like until like all the manga gets animated, it might get a little bit worse. But this is the worst point, and it only gets better. So you have no idea.
Yeah, so I'm really excited to keep watching this, but that's gonna be my third one up there just because of how much I love it already. So.
Yeah, my number 2 is Community, from the mind of Dan Harmon, who was one of the or is one of the creators of Rick and Morty. I love Community. It's brilliant. The comedy is amazing. I will admit that after season 3, it drastically goes downhill in my opinion. It's still funny. It's still likable, but it does get like it just gets really weird. But especially season 1, is just it's so funny. There's so many great moments. So
There's so many weird.
Community's my number 2.
I really like it. I have not met a lot of people at all that have watched that show. Like,
yeah. Oh yeah. The people I have met though that have seen it do all generally agree that it is really good.
Yeah, it does drop down a little bit at the end, but like it's still great. There's a lot of weird stuff in that too, but it's like I don't know. I think they do really well with it. The casting was all really good for that. So.
Oh yeah, it's iconic. All right, not your number 1, but your 4th one because yours aren't ranked.
This one's like it's a Star Wars show. I think I'm gonna go with the Clone Wars.
Yeah.
I mean, just because clones are like I love the clones. One of, if not my favorite parts of Star Wars. Obviously the 7th season was fantastic when they released that. There's definitely some filler. Like there's episodes that I skip through if I were to rewatch it. But that's definitely got to be up there just because like that was my childhood show for sure when it was on Cartoon Network and then was on Netflix and then once we moved to Disney Plus, like I always rewatched that show and I love it so much. Like that literally was one of the biggest things in my childhood. So.
I've always been a fan of Star Wars, but I didn't even watch Clone Wars until like 2 years ago because they put it on Disney Plus. Because when I was a kid, I didn't watch a lot of TV. Like we didn't have all the channels and stuff, so I didn't really have a way to watch it. All my friends watched it; they all said it was great, but I was just left out. But yeah, watching it, especially like older, I was able to really appreciate it a lot more. And like you said, there is filler. There are arcs that really blow.
I'd say it started as a kid show, like for sure.
Oh, for sure.
But like as it goes on,
come seasons like 5, 6, and 7.
Oh yeah,
yeah, it's peak Star Wars, really.
Yeah.
So for my number 1, it is Rick and Morty. Again, Dan Harmon, he's great. But yeah, Rick and Morty, it's genius. I pretty much said everything I wanted to say about it earlier when he put it in his top 4. But really funny, really interesting. Has a lot of really like relatable moments. It does depict mental health in like a really unique and interesting way. And all the plots are just really, really smart and interesting. And I love science fiction too. So yeah, Rick and Morty's my number 1. So that's our top 4 movies and shows.
All right.
What have you been watching lately?
Obviously Jujutsu Kaisen. That's probably like that. I had to catch up on Acolyte because we'll get into that, but I like slowed down with it. Yeah. Other than that, I have to finish watching Arcane on Netflix.
Yeah, I need to start that. I haven't seen any.
I really like that, but I watched like 3/4 of it and then I stopped, so I need to finish that. And then there's lots more to come. I have a lot of stuff that I need to watch, especially to talk about on here.
Yeah, oh yeah. I mean, there's a never-ending list.
Yeah, but,
I've been watching Acolyte. Yeah, I mean we're both caught up. There's only one more episode that comes out this Tuesday. But I've also been watching Hunter x Hunter. Technically, I'm still watching Naruto, but I haven't watched it in like a month. It's just a little slow for me. But I really like Hunter x Hunter. And I'm watching The Bear, too. I'm in like season 2 of The Bear. I really like that. It just hasn't been something I'm just like consistently watching. I also haven't been consistently watching a lot of TV unless it's with you and we're watching Jujutsu Kaisen because that's peak. But that's about it for me, yeah. Okay, let's talk about The Acolyte then. Okay, so The Acolyte has had a very
rough start.
Very rough start, very mixed reviews. Me personally, I thought episodes 1 and 2 were great. I really, really did enjoy episodes 1 and 2. But then I watched episode 3 and I stopped watching it because of that, because that episode was really, really bad. And most people hate it because it like devalues Anakin, because it basically portrays Osha and May as like Force-born children like Anakin is, and then it's like, well, then the whole point of Anakin being the chosen one doesn't matter. Okay. But they kind of covered that a little bit in episode 7.
Yeah, they go back over it.
Yeah, then they're kind of like
You kind of have to analyze it to.
Yeah, they're so. But that's not even why I hate episode 3. I hate episode 3 because the child acting is awful, and I don't want to bully those children because those are children and they are young, but they aren't the best in those roles. I'm sure they'll have a very talented future, but it was rough. But then also, the dialogue was awful.
Yeah, that's like a common thing throughout lots of shows. Like now, like I think.
Yeah, especially with Disney Plus shows.
Yeah, it's just like.
They say things that no one would say in that moment.
It's not even childish. It's literally just like
it's just like
not good.
Yeah,
like,
and then the actor, which they could be an incredibly talented actor, but if they're saying lines that like don't make sense, they just also look like a bad actor.
Yeah.
So even the adults in that episode seem like they're really bad, and they might be, but also like they're saying things that no human would say.
Failure.
Like, they're set up exactly. So episode 3 was awful, but other than that, I really enjoyed it. After that, I thought it kind of picked up again. What did you think about episode 7, which we haven't talked about at all until
now? Episode 7, I thought it was pretty good. Let's see, we cut off.
Episode 7 is the whole flashback episode.
Yeah,
it's like the background of
episode 3. I thought that it was really. It doesn't make me like episode 3 anymore, but
yeah,
I really like.
It makes you understand it.
Yeah, it gives it more like foundation, we'll say. And I really liked that. Like, it just gave you extra detail, which again, I'm all about extra detail. It built character for these other people, for the other Jedi that we see in that. Like, for me, it really built character.
Mm-hmm.
I thought there was at least one very good scene in this.
Which one?
Are we getting into detail on this? Like, what's
I mean, it's been out at this point. When this episode comes out, it's been out for like 5 days. So yeah, we can say.
Okay, so
spoilers, by the way. So skip 5 minutes ahead of you.
I really like the character development for Padawan Torben, because before he was kind of like
we got nothing of him.
Yeah, it was just like another.
He was just motionless.
And like when it gets back and she kills him with the poison, like it's just like okay, like he's just a random Jedi. Mm-hmm. But it does like it shows them getting into his mind. It just gives him a little more like it just gives him more depth,
more of a person.
Yeah,
exactly.
And then the other thing I liked is the fight scene between Kelnaka and then Sol and Torben.
That one was really good. You brought up a good point how like Kelnaka, I mean, while he is a Wookiee, he moves very like clunkily.
Yeah,
like he doesn't fight like a Jedi, which makes sense because he's like technically like possessed or like puppeteered. But I feel like because he fights like that, it makes it very interesting because we've never seen a Wookiee fight with a lightsaber. And if you like gave a random Wookiee, like a non-Jedi Wookiee, well, I mean, and you saw like the little guy, but like he wasn't like fighting.
Yeah.
But like it's like how a bear would fight if he had a lightsaber. He'd just like swing it around and also be punching.
Yeah, well, a big thing is like his strength. Like he's gonna be a heavy
and his size.
Yeah, huge. Physically forced. Like I don't know. I really liked it. I thought there were a lot of very cool moves in the scene.
They did a lot of force jumps. Yeah, which is nice. That's what I was gonna say.
Because those are always fun. The stunts were good in that.
Yeah,
I really like seeing the show of force that the Wookiee use because like. They've shown that with like Chewbacca before, like how strong they are, but like I just really like seeing that, like he was manhandling.
Yeah, I know, and that's one of the most consistent things in all of Star Wars is everyone fears Wookiees.
Yeah,
like no one is gonna mess with a Wookiee. I would fear a Wookiee if there was one in the room right now. Overall, the combat in this entire show has been like top tier.
Yeah,
like an episode is it episode 5 with the stranger when he like first appears.
He appears at the end of 4, and then
but all the fights is 5. Yeah, episode 5 is definitely the best of the show so far. 6 is really good too. And before the show was coming out, when I watched the trailer, I pointed out how they're doing a lot of martial arts.
Yeah,
which is something that like we've never done in Star Wars before. We did a little bit in Rogue One, but nothing like major because that doesn't have any force.
Yeah.
But the martial arts were incredible. The fighting was just very normal fighting, and like the stranger and May are both people who can use a lightsaber but would rather not.
Yeah.
Or not necessarily a stranger would rather not, but he's willing to not.
He's good without it.
He's good. He's great without it.
This is something that I'd say we've never seen before from any Force user. Like the level of like he literally snaps someone's neck. Like
he's brutal.
Like
Vader what was the dude's name? Yord. That sucked.
Yeah.
I liked Yord. Whatever. He was the guy who did like say that. What did he say?
He said Anakin Skywalker.
Oh, he said Anakin blew up the Death Star, which is rough. I did like his character. I thought he was cool.
I'd say it's obviously better if an actor knows the lore of something he's acting in.
100%.
Like
it doesn't matter, but it's not a good look.
Yeah,
it's not a good look.
Everyone was on that.
Yeah, that was funny. I liked Jordan a lot. Seeing him die was unfortunate. But he's brutal. He's like a true Sith.
I loved it. Yeah.
He's like a nihilist kind of person. Like he has like no value.
Yeah.
Like he's just
so
evil.
they go into that in episode 7 or it might be 6. Yeah, it's 6. Where they're saying like he used to be a Jedi like a long time ago. He said.
Right.
And so he wants to see this rule of 2, which is like
the Sith.
Yeah, and like that's not mentioned a whole bunch like in just other canon things. Like they don't really say the rule.
Palpatine, like Palpatine mentions it in episode 3, right?
Yeah, with Plagueis, like he brings it up, but like
and then Yoda says it at one point, but I think that's about it.
And so I thought that was really cool how he went into that, like what he wants, and saying like he can't exist because the Jedi like won't allow that. So it's like,
right.
Obviously, I don't like if I was in Star Wars universe, I wouldn't agree with his ideals, but like that is right. Like
from an audience perspective, it is interesting.
They won't let him exist.
Yes. No, I really like him as a villain, and the reveal that he was like the potions drug dealer kind of guy the whole time.
I saw some people said they saw it coming. I was like,
I definitely didn't.
I didn't see it coming. I don't think it was like
I wasn't shocked when it happened. Also, when it happened, and he took off his helmet, it didn't even click for me.
His whole literally again. I love him. Like
he's
his
great.
appearance. He floats down like using.
It's
force.
Freaky.
Like that is.
He's one of the strongest Force users we've seen in a while.
Yeah.
Like he's definitely stronger than Kylo.
Just flicks and Osha goes flying.
Yeah, he kills like 7 Jedi.
Yeah, and then they said like
easily
when he just does the normal Force push, like they're like it's an explosion. Like
right.
They literally
just, like when they're at the scene, the other Jedi from Coruscant are there. They thought it was a bomb. Like they thought a bomb went off.
Yeah.
He's great. I mean, he's definitely stronger than Kylo Ren. Stronger than Maul.
From what we see in canon, comics is a little bit different.
Canon. I would say he's probably stronger than Maul. In terms of Force, I would definitely say so. In terms of like a combat, I would still probably say so. Maul never has a lot of he doesn't have many incredible like fighting like showouts other than when he fought not Bo-Katan. What's the other guy? The guy before the leader of Death Watch, voiced by Jon Favreau. Yeah, when he fought Pre Vizsla, like that was a good fight, but I think he's getting.
They go into it in the like when he fights Ahsoka in the Clone Wars, like it's still good, but like they definitely he loses a lot. We'll say that.
Yeah.
And so that would be tough. I feel like Maul would win, honestly, but. I don't know. I really want to see that now.
That'd be great.
Because I feel like I'm underrating. I don't know if it's Chimera or Chimera. I'm gonna just go with Chimera. I feel like I'm underrating him. Like,
I mean, honestly, we also never seen fighting like that in Star Wars, so it's kind of hard to like compare it to people like Maul or like. Do you think he could beat Dooku? I think he could beat Dooku.
Oh, I don't know about that.
Do you think Maul could beat Dooku?
No. I think Dooku is very underrated. That's one of my things.
I think Dooku's really underrated too, but he also fights very like defensively. Like because he fights like a fencer.
He's very good. This is a big thing that I like about him is that he like Obi-Wan is very defensive just naturally, and Anakin is very offensive naturally. So one thing that people say is when he fights Anakin and Obi-Wan throughout the Clone Wars, he puts Obi-Wan on the offense and Anakin on the defense. Yeah. So he's good at making you do what you're not good at.
That's true. He's very smart. For that reason, he might be able to beat the Stranger, as of what we've seen right now.
Yeah.
I also think that the Jedi he fought at the Jedi at this time in Star Wars clearly suck.
They're
like at fighting.
They're not experienced.
They're not experienced. Yeah, because like
Sith
all the Jedi we're used to have been in war pretty much their whole life.
Well, that's
and there's Sith around.
Yeah, but so that was the Old Republic. There's all these Sith. Like there's a whole Sith empire, and then once they're wiped out,
there's just nothing. There's nothing going on. There's no droids. There's no Sith.
Right. Any like fighting is really like sparring, or just like fighting civilians. Like they don't. Like,
exactly. Or just like a general criminal, and that's like in the Acolyte they've emphasized so hardly how the Jedi they don't use their lightsaber if their person is unarmed.
Right.
But it's like in all of the rest of Star Wars. their lightsabers the first they pull that out as soon as something bad happens.
Yeah.
But it's like because at this time they're just not used to combat.
Right.
So clearly those Jedi are like just unexperienced.
You can see they're trained, like you can see that, but it's just like with the way they get wiped out. I don't like they honestly just.
What was Soul's Padawan named?
Jackie.
Yeah, she was honestly like the most talented of all the fighters, other than like Soul.
I loved the choreography that
was actually like. It reminded me a lot of Ahsoka because she had two lightsabers.
I think it was better than the choreography in the Ahsoka show.
In the Ahsoka show, I have to rewatch some parts of it. Probably
it's different in the Clone Wars because like obviously it's anime. I know they did the whole thing, but in the Ahsoka show, like I still think she did great. Like
yeah, Ahsoka's pretty good. I kind of forgot. I always kind of forget about that show.
I did like when she's like spit. I don't know. I loved that entire.
No, that one was really good. She honestly could probably hold her own against some more of the modern Jedi in terms of.
Well, I mean, if she was raised in that generation as well,
for sure.
Probably
better, so. Very, very much so. So yeah, let's talk about the Captain America 4 trailer.
We need to go back.
Okay, what's up?
Cortosis.
Oh right, okay, Cortosis. Okay, so a lot of people are getting really mad about the helmet of the Stranger, which, as you know,
his, like little
and he's got like some pieces of it on his arm, and it's basically he headbutts a lightsaber and it turns off the lightsaber, and then he does it a few other times where he like hits it. He does it. Okay, what's the Padawan's name? Jackie. He does it against Jackie, and her lightsaber just like completely turns off for a second. A lot of people really hate that because it's like a material that's overpowering a lightsaber, and George Lucas was like, the only thing that could rival a lightsaber is a lightsaber. Yeah. What do you think about that? Because I kind of think it's ridiculous to get mad at that.
Yeah, I'm not mad at that at all. It kind of depends on how they introduce it. I think this was an amazing way. Like, it might be biased just because I love the character so much, but like he like headbutting a lightsaber is crazy.
It's so tough.
I heard
it's so cool.
I heard about Cortosis like a couple months ago, just because it's from the comics, so it's not like unheard of.
Yeah.
And I was like surprised by it at first because I was like, I've never heard of this. Like, I don't know what that is, but like it seems cool because it's super rare. That's the thing. If it was just like everywhere, then
but it's in like his cave. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
Like I mean, it wasn't like said, but it was implied. That, like that's what it looks like. Is that it's like that. Yeah, I have no issue with it. I think that the reason people are getting mad is just because Star Wars fans just get mad about everything.
They want to hate the show.
They want to hate everything for some reason, but then also they already hate the show because they just hate Disney and Kathleen Kennedy. And yeah, she's not the best. I tend to be a little bit more tame on the Disney Star Wars than most people, but I think that's the whole reason they hate it. Because like Beskar, and I brought this up earlier, we were talking about it. Beskar can deflect a lightsaber.
But so that deflects it. So they are different things. That's the Beskar deflects it, but if you like put a lightsaber on Beskar for like a minute, like it's gonna eventually melt through it. Like it's not.
That's true.
It's the same thing with blasters. Like Mando can only take a certain amount of hits, and then it will eventually like.
I guess that's true.
Away.
That's true. Yeah.
And so with this, it's not even like it disabled. From what my understanding of this is that it disables the kyber crystal or like even the emitter of the actual lightsaber for a short amount of time, and then it comes back up. So it's not like it permanently destroys lightsabers or anything. Like
yeah, it's just like there's some kind of like chemical reason in terms of like Star Wars chemistry that would like temporarily disable like the energy of a kyber crystal. I don't know. I'm just making stuff up. But yeah, I have no problem with it.
I think it's pretty cool. I think it was a good introduction of it.
Yeah.
So
headbutting a lightsaber there's actually 2 headbutts in that episode because he headbutts the lightsaber and then Soul headbutts the Stranger later at the end of the episode. Both were great moments, but headbutting a lightsaber, I mean, it's about as badass as you can get.
Yeah, I want to do it with the helmet.
With the helmet, yeah. No, that'd be. Anyway, so yeah, thank you for bringing that up. I think it's totally fine. So yeah, Captain America 4 trailer came out today.
I think it looks really good.
I have mixed feelings. It looks like it's going to be very much not a spy movie, but like an espionage kind of thing.
That's like sort of a not a theme, but like the Winter Soldier is very much into that.
Right, sort of. Right. So I think it'll be pretty good. Mm-hmm. My expectation is that it's going to be like a 5 or 6 out of 10, which is, I mean, is about average for Marvel. but I think it should at least be pretty interesting. Did you watch The Falcon and the Winter Soldier?
Mm-hmm.
I never finished it. I watched the first episode. I was not a fan, so that is something I will have to finish at this point now.
I honestly couldn't tell you like exactly how it ended. Like it was not
right.
memorable.
And most people completely forget about it. I think it's really average. Harrison Ford is kind of random because he's always been so weird about acting and stuff. Like he hates Star Wars. Like he's gone on record and said like Star Wars is dumb, and the only reason I did it was because they gave me so much money.
It's the same thing with I don't remember. I'm not good with actors' names or anything or directors' names, but the actor for old Ben Kenobi, like in A New Hope.
Oh yeah,
the original. Yeah. Trebek.
I think so.
That's the Jeopardy.
Oh, that is Alex Trebek.
It is Alex something.
Alec. I don't know. We'll figure.
Or Alec, yeah. He said something very similar to that. Like he did not like Star Wars when he first.
Yeah, he thought it was goofy.
Yeah, which like a lot of people would probably.
Especially at the time. Yeah.
Yeah, that was. Well, I mean that was a big time, or more so during the '80s, because that's when like Back to the Future started coming out. Like
Star Trek had been around for a while too.
Yeah, so it was similar to that. So I understand it, but yeah, it's not like the first time that we're hearing that.
Yeah, but Harrison Ford, like, he's gonna do good because he is a good actor. Mm-hmm. He always does good, but it just feels so random because he's like such an icon. I mean, he's Indiana Jones, he's Han Solo, he's in Blade Runner.
A lot of smaller, like The Fugitive. Like I don't know if you've seen that. But
yeah, all like really is that a Tom Clancy one? Because he's in all the old Tom Clancy movies.
I think so.
Yeah. I think he'll do good. The big part about the trailer though is Red Hulk at the end, and where he like grabs the Captain America shield and chunks it into the ground. I think that's going to be really cool. I love all the Hulks.
Yeah,
and I always have. Maybe it'll like connect into She-Hulk, which I also didn't finish, and normal Bruce Banner Hulk, which I would love because I just love all the Hulks. We need more Hulk content. That's not She-Hulk and terrible. She-Hulk's awful, by the way.
If you disagree, you're wrong.
You're wrong because there's
it's just bad. Yeah, it's not good.
But Red Hulk looked good. It did look a little like plasticky.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Yeah, like his skin looked it looked a little like molded.
When I watched it the second time, I was trying to look at it specifically. It was just like, yeah, it just looks kind of weird. Hopefully it'll look better.
I'm sure they'll touch it up by the time it comes out. But that's a pretty good reveal. I think that Red Hulk is going to be Harrison Ford though.
I would agree with that.
Because in the comics and what they were kind of planning to do with Thunderbolt is like he is Red Hulk.
Yeah.
He's a general and he like already has an issue with Hulk and then he becomes a variant of Hulk and then he physically fights Hulk.
When it was first revealed that he was going to be playing him, like,
or Ross. Why did I call him Thunderbolt?
I don't know. I just kind of went along with it.
I don't know. I'm gonna have to look into that. Now I feel stupid.
It would seem like implied pretty much that he was going to be like playing him like Red Hulk as well.
Right. Which Harrison Ford as Hulk is very interesting.
I think he has the face for it. Like the Hulk retains Bruce Banner's facial features. I can see that with Harrison Ford. Like I don't think
it is his nickname. Thunderbolt is his nickname. It's not James Ross. It's Thaddeus.
I haven't watched those movies in too long. It's like I just kind of.
It's been a while. Oh, what do you think about The Incredible Hulk?
So people hate on these movies like a lot. Like,
oh yeah, everyone hates The Incredible Hulk.
Like to the point of like The Dark World, like as much as people hate that. Really.
Yeah.
And so I don't think it's that. Like I don't think it's great. I'd say more so the plot kind of is what I don't like as much, as opposed to the actual like scenes that we get. I think the filming of the movie did the production of it did a very good job. Like the
effects are great.
Yeah,
Hulk looks really good.
The ending fight scenes of those.
Oh, with Abomination,
spectacular.
Yeah. So for me, and this is probably one of my bigger hot takes, is I think The Incredible Hulk is really good, and is for me a top 10 Marvel movie, definitely top 10 MCU.
I wouldn't go that far, but like
most people don't like it, and I just don't understand why. I haven't seen it in like 4 years, maybe. So it has been a little bit,
we'll have to put it on the list.
We'll have to put it on the list. We've got a long list. I like The Incredible Hulk a lot. Okay, then we also got the trailer for Agatha, which came out like a week or two ago, but this is episode 1. We're just starting, so it looks fine. I think it looks totally fine.
I think it. Like I don't know if I'm gonna watch this.
Yeah, we might watch it just for the pod, but It looks like it's gonna try to be a lot. Like it looks like they're trying to do too much.
Yeah,
Like they're trying to be really edgy with like all the witches and like the Ouija board. It hopefully is more comedy oriented because that would kind of make that pull
like
it
it was
off.
gonna be, but like
Yeah.
I didn't think the trailer was funny. Like
No, the trailer didn't look very funny, and at first it was very like detective thriller kind of
yeah,
thing.
that's what I was like. It didn't from the start of it. I thought it looked pretty good. Like I'm not gonna and I
But
didn't
that had
really
nothing to
know
do with
what
like the start of it had nothing to do with witches, and that's what
I
was good
know.
about it. That's what it's supposed to be entirely.
So I understand that like she had the spell on her from Wanda from this
Right,
whole
yeah.
the whole ordeal with whatever the town was called.
I don't remember. It's been 24 years.
Like Westview or something.
Maybe.
Like that. So like I understand that that's cool that they're bringing that back up, I guess, but I just prefer other projects because this one like looked like all right. Like I have nothing against like introduction to new characters is great. The characters just didn't look very interesting or funny to me at all. So I don't know. We'll see. I'll try it out, but I don't have high expectations.
It just feels like so much of other like new MCU. It just feels like random projects just to make a project.
So that's one thing I was gonna say. Compared to recent MCU projects, excluding Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 3, hopefully Deadpool and Wolverine.
Hopefully.
The Captain America movie looked good. It reminded me sort of older Marvel.
Yeah, I know it does. Yeah, you're right. And that's kind of what Deadpool's supposed to be too.
This Agatha reminded me of newer Marvel, kind of like.
Also because it's a show. The shows are all very similar.
Yeah, we'll say that. It did remind first pop up is probably She-Hulk.
I mean, there's She-Hulk, Hawkeye, WandaVision, Falcon Winter Soldier, Loki, which is the most liked one, and I've seen only season 1, and I did like that a lot.
We should go through those at some point. What we think of all the shows because
for sure
I have a warm take for those.
I think my takes are generally pretty on par. Other than I really like Hawkeye and I like Ms. Marvel.
I didn't watch that.
Ms. Marvel is actually pretty good. There are a few moments when it's really corny, but there's other moments where it's good. Go over some hot takes. Did you think of some that I don't know of?
I honestly forgot. I'm not gonna.
Okay, so we have a few that we do know each other's written down already. Your first one being that you hate Finding Nemo.
I won't say hate, but I do not like. I'm closer to disliking than liking Nemo,
which is ridiculous. Like, what about it don't you like?
Like, if you put this on right now, I'd be on my phone the entire time. Like,
you think it's boring?
I think it's boring, and there's just nothing special. Like, I'm not saying the story of it's bad. It's just
it's so fun. It's so nice. Like, it's fun and nice and it's enjoyable. Which a movie can have those qualities and also have a bad plot, but it has such a good plot with great characters.
It's just not for me. There's so many other movies that I would rather watch than Nemo. If you were listing them out and you said Finding Nemo, I would instantly say no. I don't want to watch that. And
that's ridiculous.
I don't have this completely thought of reason as to why. It's just literally not that good.
That's ridiculous. But my first hot take, which is also Pixar, is gonna sound a lot like.
I think yours is worse than mine. By far.
I don't like Cars.
I am passionate about this.
Like
Cars is not my favorite. How do you not like Cars? Not only
now that I'm thinking about it, Cars 1 is just so forgettable. I feel like all that happens is he races. He does.
Make sure this is in one of some of the clips. I'm staring at the camera right now. No.
He races. He glazes himself. He gets stuck in a small town. He races again and wins.
Okay.
And he meets Tow Mater.
It's part of the character development is that he is so cocky. His ego is ginormous.
But then he stays cocky for the rest of the movie.
Because he's him. He's car Jesus. He's the Tom Brady. You know how many piston cups this man has? I don't know the exact number, but it's a lot. It's so okay. The pacing of this movie is great.
Pacing's bad. The movie's so boring. So much of that movie.
How can you? Okay, look, it's not intense because it's not supposed to be intense. It's a Disney movie.
Disney movie.
He starts off racing right off the bat, it's action.
The first scene is good.
Yeah,
the first scene is good.
That's one thing.
His narration, Owen Wilson's narration,
just the opening scene
Owen Wilson is
the
really
entire
good.
stadium, the entire track is awesome.
The way it cuts between the scenes,
gives me
that's good.
Not goosebumps, but it gives me a feeling, and I like the feeling. And then you go into it. I'm recalling the movie as I go on. I haven't watched it.
Yeah, it's because it's bad.
No, it's good. This is a good movie.
Cars 2 is way better than Cars 1. Cars 3 is bad.
I'm not. Yeah, Cars 3 is not.
I saw it once when it came out in theaters. I don't really remember
much. I've rewatched it since then. I don't think it's horrible. It's just not good compared to the other two at all. Cars 2 is definitely good.
On par with the
You gotta let me finish. That's what she said. Cars 1 is a good movie. You go through to this small little town, and they all like don't like him at first. Eventually, like when he starts to change, and you can see it. It's character development at its finest. They introduced the storyline with Doc Hudson, how he was also him at one point when he got hurt. Andrew Luck, I don't know if you know who that is.
Yeah,
he was so good, and then he got hurt. I'm biased because I'm a Colts fan.
That's right. I'm not big into sports.
And then like they explain that, and then when they find him, he has to make the tough decision. He goes back to race, and then Doc Hudson shows up again. It's like this mentor and student.
Didn't he die?
In the second one, they don't really mention.
Oh, he does.
They do mention it, so they don't show him die. They mention it in the second one at some point. Like they're just like, I wish Doc could be here to see this or something. I don't know.
Anyways, no, it's just like all of that is just boring.
No,
like him going to the small town, like. That's just a trope that's not very interesting, and I like. Tow Mater's funny, Owen Wilson's funny, but I feel like nothing for most of the characters. I also, this is hotter than this take is hotter than not liking Cars. I hate Life is a Highway.
Yeah, I mean I don't really care.
Okay.
I don't dislike this.
I hate that song.
It's not
people glaze it so much, especially where I'm from. So many people are huge fans of that song.
Yeah,
I just think it's so played out, so boring, and I hate country music too. And it's kind of country.
It's close to it. Yeah,
it's pretty close. It's towing the line, and I just hate that. I just hate that song.
I don't dislike it, but I don't think it's good or great song.
Okay. Well, I thought you would get really mad about that. Maybe.
No, I don't think I've ever searched up that song and be like, let me play this right now. I'm feeling Life is the Highway.
Yeah.
I have started singing it though. Just get songs.
That's also a big issue, because it says the same line the whole time.
It's easy.
It's so easy to get stuck in your head, and it sucks. So when something that sucks gets stuck in your head, you're just miserable. So yeah, those are our hot takes. Now here's a mutual hot take: Ferris Bueller's Day Off sucks and is not funny, not good.
Why would you
it's
like
a
this
bad
movie? That's what I want to know. You guys have to tell us that.
Ferris is an ass.
He is.
Hate that guy. He's so mean to Cameron. Cameron's his friend, right?
Yeah.
I think Cameron. He's so mean to his friend. He's not a good boyfriend either. Nothing to like about the guy, and he's not very funny.
He literally skips school, wrecks
his best friend's dad's prized car.
It's not the scenes. The scenes are not that funny.
No,
and it the thing I hate about it's overrated. People idolize this
glaze this movie so bad.
It is why? There's so many better movies even from the time for the era that it was made. It's literally not that good. People think that this is literally one of the best movies ever. You're wrong. Don't say that.
It's
ever
not funny.
Again.
And it's not even it's that groundbreaking. He breaks the fourth wall, which I love. Fourth wall breaks. I mean, I'm wearing a Deadpool shirt, but that wasn't even the first movie to do that. Monty Python does that. Deadpool does it in all of his comics. It was not a unseen thing. I think it was just it was probably the biggest budget movie at the time to do that, and the reason that he does it is a big reason the movie so stands out because no one had seen it at the time. But
it wasn't a popular thing,
right? Yeah, so there's better fourth wall breaks from movies. Totally. And from movies that are just actually funny.
Yeah.
And this one's not.
No.
Yeah. And I also, I mentioned, he's a twerp. He's not a good. He's not nice. He's not a nice fella.
People are oh, which movie character are you? And then they're oh, I think I'm Ferris Bueller.
Automatically dislike that person.
You don't know.
Yeah. Don't hang out with that person. I really tend to not like movies when the character is when snobby. They suck. Yeah, when they're snobby. Like movies like American Psycho or movies where the character is like evil isn't necessarily bad, but when they're just like
because like they earn that mindset.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, in a way, it fits them.
But, right, like, it's just fitting. Like, but when the character's just like mildly annoying or like just constantly mean, it's just like I have no connection to this character. Like I have no reason to like this guy.
You're like, this is gonna be a connection.
That's the connection's my fist to his face. Yeah. So Ferris Bueller sucks. Okay, another hot take of mine is Zack Snyder has never made a good movie.
I wouldn't say that he's never made a good movie.
Which ones of his have you seen? Other there's Man of Steel, Batman v Superman, Justice League, Zack Snyder's Justice League. That's all the DC ones he's done. Other than Watchmen, which is DC but not DCEU.
I forget the name.
There's Army of Darkness or Army of the Dead. Yeah, like Army of the Dead. Army of Darkness is Evil Dead.
He just did Rebel Moon.
Yeah, Rebel Moon's awful.
Yeah.
Did you see it?
I did.
It's awful. But everyone thinks that. That's not a hot take. Yeah, no one likes it.
Like I don't think Man of Steel is like terrible.
I haven't seen it in a while, but I don't remember it being anything like special.
I think it's mid.
Yeah,
that's about it. So I don't like. Has never made a good movie.
I've seen I think maybe 6 or 7 of his movies. None of them are good.
Yeah, I don't disagree with it. I wouldn't say like he's terrible, but like the people like the Zack Snyder stands, I like love him. Like,
I don't get it at all. Have you seen Watchmen?
Like little bits of it.
So it is a very like well liked superhero movie. Mm-hmm. I think the reason that people like it so much is because it's very gritty. It's very different from like the other superhero movies, especially from like around that time. Because now we are getting a lot more gritty stuff with like the Batman, Logan, and like even like Deadpool at times. But Watchmen, it has that Zack Snyder feel. Like so many of his movies just have this feeling where like the characters don't feel real, and like I don't know, it just feels so like corny at times. And Watchmen is just a lot of that, and I just don't think it's good.
Yeah, I mean, I can agree. It's just like he's just never been.
I just hate it. Let's see, what other hot takes do you have? What's your favorite Pixar movie? Mine is Ratatouille.
Yeah, it's got to be Ratatouille.
What do you think about The Incredibles?
I like The Incredibles. I like the first one better than the second one.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I rewatched the first one kind of recently. I really like it. Like I used to really like this movie. I've always liked superheroes. Like I've never not liked superhero stuff. It's just awesome. Like superpowers. Like duh.
Oh, who doesn't?
But it was. I think when the kids get to the island, that's really cool. It's just like intense, especially in the second half of the movie. Like you don't know what's gonna happen. Mm-hmm. It's really like one thing I just liked when I rewatched it is how like Mr. Incredible's like fat and then he starts training. He gets
the training montage is pretty good. Yeah, I think it's a little overrated. I do still think it's good, but whenever people bring up like the greatest Pixar movies, that's never what comes to mind for me.
Yeah, like that's not really in my
like I put Ratatouille over Toy Stories 1 and 2, probably 3 over it. I haven't seen 3 in a while, but like people have been talking about it lately, and I've kind of been like, oh yeah, okay, this movie was actually really good.
Well, you have a high rating for it on Letterboxd.
On Letterboxd, I do. Okay. I'm Finding Nemo, unlike you, because Finding Nemo is really good. What else? Inside Out is definitely, I would say, is above The Incredibles.
I don't know if I agree with that or not.
I think Inside Out's really good. Did you see Inside Out too? Mm-hmm. What did you think?
I liked it. So I think we've talked about it a little bit. Maybe, I don't know if we said to save it for this. The thing that I've been saying, anyone who asked me what I thought, I think it aged with its audience. So Inside Out 1 came out, the people, and I liked it when I was a kid. Like it's not like my favorite movie, but I liked it. And then they released this one. It's aged just as much as I have. I never suffered with like anxiety like crazily or anything. Like it's like everyone has it.
Yeah.
So obviously I relate to it somewhat. It never just like ruined my life though. So, but I thought like I know people that just get destroyed by it, and that was very like a good interpretation of it, like, of the panic attacks and stuff. Like I thought it was a good movie,
and that is like the general consensus is that like the movie for people with really bad anxiety, and I do occasionally have bad anxiety, but it's not like a perpetual thing. Is that it just portrays those emotions in either a very relatable way or a very understandable way for people who don't have them.
Yeah.
And I do agree with both of those things. But in terms of the movie itself, it doesn't do much stuff differently than the first one.
Yeah.
Like the structure of the plot is identical.
Really similar to the first one.
Yeah, I mean, like core memories is like the
go back
the big,
to
like
go to the back of the mind pretty much.
yeah, and then it's the core memories, and then it's like the beliefs, like, or like her identity.
That was a
like,
new thing. Yeah. So the core memories is like
was the first.
That
one.
was the first one. It's what she's going to remember.
Uh-huh.
Then this one, it was the like when you put the ball in the water, the string goes up. That's what like makes you who you are. It's like building your
and they're basically the same thing in each movie. Like they literally both get sent to the back of the mind.
Yeah.
And then all the emotions, or not all of them, but at least joy and sadness, have to go back and find
the big difference is that last time it was not intentional for them to get sent back there, and this time it was. I still thought there were some good jokes in it.
It is funny.
Made me laugh.
Overall, I would say that it is a good movie. It's just nowhere near as good as the first one.
Yeah.
Anyways, what other Pixar movies would I put above it? I'm trying to think. Above Incredibles. I mean, that's probably about it. Like, Incredibles is really good. Let me pop on Letterboxd real quick. Look at all these Pixar movies.
If I saw a list, I'm not good with differentiating between Disney and Pixar a lot.
I mean, they're technically Brave is Pixar. Brave is good.
Yeah,
Brave I like Brave.
I like The Incredibles better than Brave, though.
I probably do too. Up. Up is 100% better than The Incredibles. Yeah, Up is better. Soul, I haven't actually finished.
Soul, for me, is...
Everyone says it's really good. I think I would love it if I finished.
This is girlfriend's, like, one of her favorite
Girlfriend
movies.
is what we call his girlfriend.
It's my girlfriend. She's girlfriend.
His girlfriend.
Refer to her as girlfriend.
Girlfriend.
It's like, that probably would have been in her top 4 at the beginning.
For favorite movies?
Yeah. So she loves it.
Mm-hmm.
I rewatched it with her. I love it. Like, I showed this to my parents. My parents loved it. Like, I think
it came out in 2020, which was a year that, like, mostly awful movies came out because no one was releasing movies because they made very little money. Yeah. Luke, have you seen Luca Turning Red and Elemental?
I've seen Luca. That's the only one.
Okay, I haven't seen any of those 3, and those are the most recent 3. Some people say that Elemental's really good. Some people say that a few people say Turning Red is good.
I know a lot of
few people say Luca's good.
Turning Red.
Yeah, which I think is kind of the point.
Yeah, that's what it was meant for, I'd say.
Okay,
Luca
now it just has all the short films.
Luca was alright from what I remember. It was like, I wouldn't want to rewatch it, I don't think, but
yeah, I mean, it's probably like that. Oh, Monsters Inc. and Monsters University. I would put both of them above The Incredibles. I love Monsters University.
So do I. I think I like it better than Monsters Inc.
Okay, see, that's crazy. That's wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah, but they're both good.
I
will say I do.
I think I like it better than Monsters.
I quote Monsters University more, but it's just because of Uzma Kappa. That's the only thing I'm quoting in that movie. So
should we say where we're at and stuff?
Florida State University.
Students at FSU.
Student at FSU freshman.
Yes.
Hoping to join Uzma Kappa in the fall.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's Cars, obviously, which we've talked about. Oh, Onward, The Good Dinosaur, which I haven't seen in a while.
Yeah. Most
people don't like it. I don't remember. I mean, I would have been like a kid, like whenever it came out, which was 2015, so I was 11, or 10. 2015, I was 10. That was bad math. I thought it was good. I like dinosaurs a lot, so I mean, I thought it was cool. But that's about all of them. But yeah, I would put Incredibles. Probably, I mean, it's definitely the top 10.
Oh yeah.
I wouldn't say it's top 5 though.
If it was top 5, it would be the 5th. I'd say that.
Okay, fair. Well, we are coming up on... Oh, wait, no, we got to do our favorite superhero.
Yes.
And then that'll be our last segment, and then we'll call it a day. So, favorite superhero. Do you want to go first or me?
I'll go first.
You go first? All right, favorite superhero. You want to do overall, or you want to do like Marvel, DC, and like extra? What do you want to do? Let's just do overall.
Okay.
All right, go ahead.
Can we go into detail? Or can we do all of them?
Yeah, no, we'll do all of them, but to start off with.
Okay, all right. Overall, Spider-Man.
Okay.
It's like common. Yeah. Like, I don't care.
It's not a wrong answer.
Yeah. Especially with Into and Across the Spider-Verse. Like, obviously it's a big boost.
What's your favorite Spider-Man and out of all the Spider-Man, particularly the Spider-Verse movies? You got Miles, Peter B, Spider-Gwen.
I think if I was gonna be any of them, I would be Peter B. Parker when he was still fat.
Peter like B's really really funny. He's awesome.
I really like Hobie. He was a great character.
Scarlet Spider.
Yeah. So I like him more like the comics because I've read some of the comics. I've got you trapped in my world of fine muscular shape. So that's really funny.
Andy Samberg's hilarious.
Yeah.
One of the funniest people on the planet, in my opinion.
I don't know if I can choose between like my favorite one and those. I will tell you that my favorite live action Spider-Man is Andrew Garfield.
Okay. Yeah. I kind of go back and forth between Tobey and Andrew. I think Tobey's underrated. I think Tom is overrated. Tom's not bad, but I do like Andrew.
The general consensus that I would agree with. Actually, I don't know. I can't remember the order that people do it in.
People say like, Tobey's the best Spider-Man, Andrew's the best Peter Parker, Tom Holland's the best mix of both.
They say Andrew's the best. I think it's the opposite.
You think that like
no. I'm telling you, it's the opposite. They say Tobey's the best Spider-Man. Tobey's the best Peter Parker. Andrew's the best Spider-Man. Peter's.
I disagree. I think Andrew Garfield plays the nerd a lot better.
You think so?
Yeah.
I think at least in the first movie they do make him a lot more. We'll go with depressed.
In Spider-Man, in the Amazing Spider-Man.
The Amazing Spider-Man 1. The first one, or the second one. I mean, he like kind of like they don't go into that as much, but like having his like hood up. Like I know he's not like a social person. Like that.
He is very anxious.
He had like 1-2 friends in the comics and stuff like that. But like he wasn't like depressed. Like
that's fair. I also feel like, and this is kind of the problem, not a problem, but kind of what both Spider-Man and the TASM movies do is they don't portray Spider-Man as like super smart. They really don't in Spider-Man because he doesn't have to even make his web fluid.
And like, with Tobey, like
there's really no moments for him to like show that he's a genius.
They do that with Tom Holland.
They definitely do that with Tom Holland.
And
they do it some with Andrew Garfield because again he has to actually make the web fluid.
That and that might be the scene that I'm thinking of. They do show him good with chemistry.
Yeah, like, because he hangs out with Lizard. I don't remember his name, but like he's with him a lot. So because
that's smart. A big push towards that. Like he's literally developing these stuff with one of the smartest scientists in the world. Like
So and in Spider-Man, he's just a photographer.
Yeah,
which again is fine. I like the Spider-Man movies a lot.
They don't make him seem dumb at all.
No,
he
doesn't
they just don't
dumb.
hint to like he's a smart kid. Like,
the most we get of his intelligence really is in the third movie when he's in college and you see him in the college room. But like the only moments we get of that is when he like raises his hand to answer a question.
Yeah.
And then like Gwen also gets the question right in the background.
I mean she's smart too.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So your favorite superhero overall is Spider-Man. Mine overall, I would say Deadpool if you count him as a superhero. Yeah. I mean he's kind of an anti-hero.
Yeah.
But I've always been a fan of Deadpool. I mean he's funny. He breaks the fourth wall, which I already mentioned I love. And he is just different.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, the swords are cool. The guns is cool. So Deadpool's definitely my number one for just overall superhero, if you'll allow that. If not, might be Hulk, might be Wolverine.
Okay.
I liked both of them a lot when I was a kid.
Mm-hmm.
A few of the X-Men. I mean, Wolverine is an X-Men, but I love Nightcrawler. I like Colossus a lot. Moon Knight's cool too. So other than Deadpool, I don't really have a definitive favorite.
That's what I was gonna say. Moon Knight is probably my second favorite hero. I don't even know.
Did you watch Moon Knight the show? Did you like it?
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say with the shows. I like that much more than other people liked it. Mm-hmm. I haven't really read any of his comics, so that was like really the introduction of his character to me.
Yeah,
I just think like his suit is awesome. Mm-hmm. Like I don't know, I really liked it. I don't know much about him at all. Literally, just one of my.
He's just cool. Yeah, I mean he's Marvel Batman.
Yeah.
Which speaking of which, Batman is definitely my second favorite. I was only thinking about Marvel for a second, but overall superheroes, Deadpool then Batman. So if you don't take Deadpool because he's an anti-hero, definitely Batman.
I didn't get into DC much at all until like kind of recently. So like Batman, like when I first like downloaded TikTok and got into this superhero aspect of it, like that was my For You page. People were all like, "Oh, Batman's like the best."
I mean,
like,
yeah.
What are you talking about? Like. Because
you've seen the Dark Knight trilogy, right?
Mm-hmm. I used to think DC as a whole sucked, like,
which a lot of people did because the movies mostly sucked.
They weren't that good. So I was like, the movies suck, so Batman sucks. Like
Mhm.
he doesn't compete with any Marvel character at all.
Yeah.
And then like obviously I've evolved beyond that because Batman's
Batman's great.
amazing.
Did you watch? You've seen The Batman?
Yeah.
That was great.
So yeah, I don't know if like I'm not gonna say Moon Knight's my second favorite. I just love him a lot. We'll just go with that.
Yeah.
I couldn't tell you who my second favorite is. Batman is definitely up there, just like since I've gotten into that.
For me, low key, maybe not number 3, but definitely top 10 is Invincible. Not Marvel, not DC, but really good superhero.
I need to finish it because
you've seen season 1, right?
I've seen season 1 and the first 2 episodes of season 2, and I need to get on that as well because
he's a great written character. His powers are cool. I mean, he's just kind of like a Superman without the laser eyes, frostbite, and X-ray vision. So he's just like a tank. He can fly. He's got strength.
I really like that.
Yeah, me too. And Omni-Man's great too. I love his suit. To be honhonest, I've never seen a good like cosplay or costume of Invincible though.
Yeah,
they always look kind of dorky. I don't know why, but Invincible, he's definitely in the top 10 for me, I would say. Even though I haven't read the comics, I've only seen the show. We do get very little of him in the show, but what we do gets very good.
From what I've seen, like I know that he gets like he's getting stronger. And in season 3, when season 3 comes out, I'm sure like he'll.
I mean, we're only like 20% of the way through the comics with season 2.
Yeah,
which actually isn't that much for I think how long it's been out, but they might still be coming out. I don't know.
I think they are. I don't know. I have no
Maybe
idea.
I have
So yeah, I know he get like because I've seen some spoilers for season 2 just because I couldn't help it, like they just popped up.
Yeah.
So I know he does like get stronger as it goes on. Obviously, he's getting more experience. He's going to get stronger, but he does get his booty kicked a lot.
Yeah. I mean, like Spider-Man too. He's very similar to Spider-Man.
That's just like literally the biggest theme through all of his fights is
that he is not invincible.
Yeah, he has these moments where like he'll have a really good hit.
Yeah,
and you're
then
like,
he just gets clobbered.
And then just how much of it have you seen?
Invincible?
Yeah,
I've seen all of it.
Oh, okay.
I've seen but for seasons 1 and 2.
So yeah, like when he fights Battle Beast the first time.
Oh yeah, Battle Beast trashes him.
Yeah, I know. I was like, I hadn't read the comic. Like I knew
apparently
nothing
in the
about
comics. Battle Beast is like really like Omni-Man level strong.
I see people saying he's literally like first or second for strongest characters.
Yeah,
in the entire universe.
I do think actually that the comics are a good bit different because so I've been reading manga recently, and manga and anime are typically like frame for frame the same, but comics are nowhere like American comics are nothing like that. And so now that I'm like kind of remembering all the Invincible stuff is what we have of seasons 1 and 2, like all the background story is very different than what happens in the comics. And apparently Battle Beast is like the very little we got of him in the show, like tells us already how strong he is, and the comics like really reinforces that.
I thought Mark was like he might win, and then
just almost murders him. Yeah,
pretty much does. Yeah.
Yeah, great stuff. We definitely need to finish season 2. Yeah. Okay, well that's about it.
Yeah.
That is the end of episode 1 of Out the Dorm.
I thought it was great.
I thought we did a pretty good job for our first episode. I mean,
I was very nervous.
You were? I wasn't too bad, but I also I'm in front of a camera a lot. Follow the TikTok.
Yes. Mine soon as well.
Yes. Ethan will be out with TikTok soon. Sorry that we're just in a dorm room. I mean, that's kind of the point. I mean, like all my kitchen stuff is right there, including my deodorant, which I probably will move in the next one.
We threw this together today.
Yeah, we bought the ring lights and the phone stands that is currently recording everything like a few hours ago. So,
assuming this goes well,
pardon our dust, but yeah, who knows where this will go.
Get better, but yeah.
Yeah, subscribe, follow whatever platform you're watching on. Hit the plus.
We'll make like a Discord for it.
Yeah, we'll have it. We'll have the Discord, Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, the whole everything. Yeah. So thank you guys and have a great week.